How's it going, everybody? Crobat for the win of the token minorities here today with my week 1 team builder for the Stab League. So as a quick reminder, I did upload a video about what my team was, and if you want to go check that out, that link will be hopefully in the description if I remember. But as a quick rundown, my team is M-Manectric, Mewtwo, Blaziken, and Celesteela Z, because it's a Z move, Jirachi, Nidoqueen, Pelipper, Lurantis, Kingdra, Dragonite with Z move, and Grand Bull. So, my opponent for this week is DJ Tanner. No, I'm just kidding. It's not DJ Tanner, but no, he's a very cool guy, and I'll put his link in the description if he has one as well. If he doesn't, then I will indicate that in the description. I actually don't know. Some people don't have links, and some people do. Anyways, his team is Mega Mawile, Formosa, Kyogre, Salamence Z, Xurkitree Z, Donphan, Hoopa-U, Gengar, Darmanitan, Whimsicott, and Lycanroc Dusk form. So I'm finally getting down with these Pokemon names. I can finally start to say them, so that's a relief. It only took me about 1.5 years to finally say some of them right, but I'm ready to build my team and talk about it. So I've already built the team. That's kind of misleading, but I really like the build that I've got today. So big threats, all right? As a reminder, the Stab League allows a couple of choice Ubers. You're allowed 2 Ubers, a gold and silver tier Uber. So let's see what I can do to maybe take on his Formosa and Kyogre, and honestly Mega Mawile too. It's pretty bad as well. So it's almost like 3 Ubers. Let's see what we can do. So let's look at the big threats on his team. The big threats that I see: Formosa and Kyogre. Goes without saying, they're in the Uber tier. Kyogre, I'm really scared of the Choice Scarf Water Spout. I feel like that would destroy my team if I'm not careful. But it also has Ice Beam, which can kind of ruin Lurantis' day. It's kind of my only decent check to it, other than just brute forcing it, so I'm gonna have to play around that really carefully. Formosa is just very hard hitting. Yes, it has the defenses of a sheet of paper, actually a paper towel that I could literally just rip up right now, but it's still so fast and so quick and so powerful. So I don't, even priority, you won't be able to bring it down to 0. It's still, I think, bulkier than Deoxys attack. So yeah, most priority, I calced for my team. Any priority that I did have would not bring it down low enough, so I'd have to lose a Mon. 2 Mons maybe if I had double priority. So I'm gonna have to plan around that really carefully. So as well, Darmanitan, if it's scarved, obviously we don't want the Flare Blitz to run rampant. That would be pretty challenging. And Mawile, Mega Mawile's always threatening. It is always that +2 through huge power, already a base 105 special, not special attack stat. It's gonna be a tough week. I'm looking at this matchup, I'm not loving it, but I think I threw something together that might be very helpful for me. So my first set for the week, we're gonna move to Showdown right here. My first set is Lurantis. So it's got Defog, Knockoff, Leaf Storm, and Giga Drain. Now it's a Yachi Berry set. It's made to counter as best as possible Kyogre. If Kyogre didn't have Ice Beam, this would be the perfect Kyogre counter. You could Giga Drain and Leaf Storm to get +2. It has Knockoff to ruin anything it switches out, that switches in on it. Defog's just nice utility. It's fully specially defensive, so it actually works really well against Kyogre. Ice Beam will be a little bit of a complication, but the fact that I've got Yachi Berry will really help my hope. This is an ideal situation. I'd be able to Leaf Storm on a Kyogre as it Ice Beams. He'd probably think, okay, I'll probably take like 40 or 50% from it. And then if I can Giga Drain afterward, because I can live an Ice Beam without the Yachi Berry. So I can live a Yachi Berry Ice Beam plus a non-Yachi Berry Ice Cream. Ice Cream? Oh my god, now I'm hungry. Yachi Berry Ice Beam, then I can Giga Drain, gain a lot of that health back, and Lurantis will be able to KO Kyogre. So in an ideal situation, this Lurantis can 1v1 the Kyogre. Now it's not going to be easy, and it is still a Kyogre, but I'm liking it. I'm liking this set a lot. So the EVs are such that it's fully specially defensive to be able to take on Kyogre and any other special special attackers rather, that he has if necessary, but it's basically for Kyogre. Now we're going to move on to Mewtwo. which currently is Choice Scarfed. It's got Side Strike, just general stab, really powerful attack, basically going to be spamming that most of the time. It's got Signal Beam for Hoopa, Unbound. It's got Ice Beam for Salamence if I need it, because it could be Scarf Salamence. And it's got Flamethrower, just in case I need it for the Mawile. Could I maybe toss in Fire Blast? Sure, but I think Flamethrower is more than sufficient. I'd rather keep the accuracy in this case. It doesn't really give me any extra benefit, so Flamethrower is good. The reason why I went with Choice Scarf was because if it's Choice Scarf Kyogre, and if it's Choice Scarf Salamence, if it's Choice Scarf Xurkitree, Choice Scarf Hoopa, all of those mons are going to be able to outspeed Mewtwo. And that would not be good. So I wanted to hopefully surprise my opponent by going with a Choice Scarf Mewtwo. It just seems kind of off. It's not something that Mewtwo would normally run, by any stretch of the imagination. So I could actually run Modest, which is really neat. So I've got enough speed to outspeed, I think, I think Scarf Gengar. Because that's the fastest Scarfer, realistically, that he could have. He's not gonna have Scarf Whimsicott, like, even if he did, that would be really weak. So it's enough to outspeed Scarf Gengar. And anything lower than Gengar, obviously, with a Scarf, it'll outspeed as well. So I managed to squeeze Modest Nature out of it, which will really help with power as well. I tacked on Unnerve. I don't know if that'll end up being legal, but if it ends up not being legal, it'll just go back to Pressure, so it's not really a big deal. So the EVs are such I already explained: max special attack, almost max speed, enough for to outspeed Scarf Gengar, and just some HP just to tack on a little bit of bulk. Now let's move on to Jirachi. Now this is the Stools type I opted for this week. I talked about my game plan where I'd pick 1, none, or 2 Steel types. This week I'm feeling 1, so I've got another Scarf. And by the way, for Mewtwo, one more thing, that outspeeds, most importantly, Formosa. So I'll be able to give it a shocking KO, a striking KO. Anyway, by similar reasoning here, I've got Choice Scarf Jirachi, which I'm running Zen Headbutt, Iron Head, U-Turn, and Ice Punch. So it's enough speed to, I think, outspeed Formosa, if I recall. Maybe there was another Scarfer below it, I just can't remember off my head. It may have been for Xurkitree then, actually. Now that I'm thinking of it, I think it was Xurkitree, which also outspeeds Formosa if I am correct. If I'm not correct, it's definitely Formosa. Like, that's why I threw this together. So I've got max attack, pretty good amount of speed, the rest in HP. Zen Headbutt is for the Formosa, 100%. Iron Head, awesome against Whimsicott, and just good to spam. It hits most of his team for at least some damage. So that I have that going for me. The U-Turn is just good for maintaining momentum, and Ice Punch is really just for Salamence, in case he decides to have any Salamence. Funny business. I feel like this will just be U-Turning most of the time. Maybe Iron Head if I can use it, but it's really more insurance against the Formosa, and I think it would be effective against a lot of the rest of his team as well. Now let's go to M-Manectric. It's got Volt Switch, Signal Beam, Hidden Power Ice, and Thunderbolt. Now, because its speed ends up being 135, and I only need enough speed to outspeed Whimsicott, I actually can run Modest, which is going to really, I think, help with Manectric's power. So Volt Switch is just for utility, Signal Beam is for Hoopa, and Hidden Power Ice is for Salamence. Thunderbolt is just general good stab to use in a game like this. I could use Thunder for the Kyogre, but I think for Manectric, it's more important that I keep the consistency of Thunderbolt. So, of course, Lightning Rod ability, and the Mega Manectric Stone, because it's a Mega. That's pretty much it. It's pretty straightforward. The reason why I opted not to put Overheat or Flamethrower on it is just because it just doesn't have that much utility. I mean, the only thing it would hit is Mega Mawile, but the problem ends up being that, let's just say, okay? Let's say I use Overheat on Mega Mawile, it goes down, that'd be wonderful. But then all of a sudden, he goes in with Salamence, with a Yachi Berry to boot, and now starts Dragon Dancing on me. And I'm at -2, he has a Yachi Berry, so my Hidden Power Ice, which already wouldn't have done anything due to the -2, it's gonna do even less. It would probably do like 20%. I would be in big trouble, and then I'd be outsped the next turn after Dragon Dance. So I don't want it to be setup fodder. I need this thing to be in good shape, and plus it helps with Hoop, but it keeps Signal Beam. So at that point, I think Thunderbolt's good enough to take on Mawile. I think it would be a 2-hit KO. I mean, this does have Intimidate as well, which will help against Mawile, surely. So, or maybe Volt Switch against Mawile. I got options there, though, at least. I've got something in my favor. And next for this team, we've got Speed Boost Blaziken. It's going to be a setup sweeper, so it's Adamant, max attack, got a decent amount of HP, and decent amount of speed. I think after one speed boost, it ends up, what does it end up outspeeding? I think it ends up outspeed, it's not Formosa, I wish I could have, it requires +2 speed to outspeed Formosa. I think it ends up outspeeding like Whimsicott or Gengar or something like that. So, and then after 2 it ends up outspeeding Formosa, that's the most important. I just could not get that to happen. Or if I really couldn't. So, at least not within reason. I wanted this to have a little bit of bulk as well, 64 bulk, notably, so it can take an attack or two, maybe from Mawile, other than the Play Rough, so it can maybe take an attack from Darmanitan, barring the Earthquake. So that's my hope, at least. So I've got Earthquake, Fire Punch, Thunder Punch, and Swords Dance. I wanted this thing to be on the durable side, so I did not put Life Orb, but I look at his team, Expert Belt basically, with that coverage, hits almost everything, so I really don't have any concerns. I like it a lot. Thunder Punch is for Kyogre, Fire Punch for general coverage, and Earthquake hits a ton on his team. Now remember that Gengar now does not have Levitate, so it'll be OHKO'd by Earthquake. I really like this Blaziken set. I hope I'd be able to set up on him, because if I could get a Speed Boost Blaziken going with +2 or +4, this game's over. It could definitely be over. And now, my final mod for the week will be Nidoqueen. Now this is probably my most heat set. This is like Cheeto Burrito material here, if anyone remembers that. Trev would be proud, I know. This is Assault Vest Nidoqueen, and I know Fog is also proud right now because he loves the Assault Vest more than life. So it's Assault Vest with Sheer Force. We've got Flamethrower, Ice Beam, Thunder, and Earth Power. Now it's mostly specially defensive. It's Calm Nature, 252 special defense, 104 HP. The EVs on this might change a little bit by the game time. It might. If it changes drastically or it changes, I'll probably just make a note at the beginning of the actual upload. I'm still toying with it, but I like this, what I have right now so far. So it gives me a 2-hit KO on most Mega Mawile that are relevant with Earth Power. I mean, no, sorry, a 1-hit KO with Earth Power on Mega Mawile, and a 2-hit KO is pretty much everything else on his team if I can get an attack off. It also OHKOs a bunch of stuff too, so that's why this Nidoqueen's really important. And a lot of his team is special attacker. Like, this thing takes on Xurkitree really well. What's it going to do? HP Ice? No, it's not going to. It can't Volt Switch, it can't Thunderbolt. Xurkitree is a sitting duck against this thing. It can't do anything. Gengar is not going to be able to do a whole lot. Maybe it has Psychic, but even then, it's still not going to do anything. This thing is so bulky with an Assault Vest. Whimsicott won't be able to do much of anything, at least not offensively. Maybe it could, do like Sleep Powder or something, but or Leech Seed or whatever, but it's still not, it's not going to be able to damage it very much, which is really nice. Even Kyogre, barring Choice Scarf, Water Spout at full HP, this thing will be able to take a water attack and live. And that's why I got Thunder on it, just in case. If the rain's set up and I can use Thunder on a Kyogre, that would be awesome. He might also expect to switch and go for, say, Ice Beam, and I could still live that even more nicely than any water attack. So this thing also deals with Formosa pretty well, because Formosa has Ice Beam, but with the Assault Vest, it will do 30%, let's say, and it resists both its stabs naturally and has naturally pretty good bulk. So overall, it will deal with that well. Not only that, Mawile is now checked a little bit better with most of its stabs, most of its main attacks, including its biggest stab, the Fairy typing. Play Rough, just not effective. The only attack he has against this thing is Iron Head. And Sucker Punch does like 40%, let's say. So, and I can KO back with the Earth Power, so it's a good, really solid set, I think, against his team. So, all in all, I'm really liking the team that I threw together this week. We're going to see how it goes, and hoping for that first win. So, hope you guys enjoyed this today. Rate, comment, subscribe, guys, and peace out.